Hey, friends! I'm Jesse Fisco.
And I'm Ambry Fisco.
As founders of several successful businesses, we've experienced absolute joy and satisfaction working together to build our empire.
Our journey started off as a small business idea and has launched into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. It would have never been possible had Jesse and I not understood the key principles of making it all work together. But it has not been easy.
We found ourselves in the trenches trying to balance real life with business life while maintaining our strong commitment to creating an amazing marriage.
And we've emerged in a beautiful way together. This podcast was created to help you do what we've done, build an amazing marriage together while maintaining balance between life and business.
So here we are. You're listening to the Matrimonial Merger, a couple's guide to balancing life and business.
Let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Good to be with you again.
Hello.
How are you, Jesse?
I am wired. Obviously, podcast Jesse came out.
Yeah, every time the mics go on, Jesse's like, boom, just like in the mode, in the zone.
That's right.
Gets really excited about
It's like, what is it? Kobe Bryant. I was listening to him once, and he said something along the lines of,
man, Jesse's phone is ringing.
Yo, it's 8:30.
A day in the life.
Day in the life. Whoops. Sorry, guys. It was like Kobe Bryant said, every time he jumps on the court, he played the scene from The Gladiator where he picks up the sand and smells the sand, and that like gets him game face. That's what me with the mics. The minute we hit record on these things, I'm like game mode. I'm excited to talk to you guys today. How's your week?
It's good. Did you know that there is currently a shortage of golden Oreos?
Yo. We do cake nights at our house every month. We try to. We've been really bad lately.
I have done 2 grocery orders this week because one of our cakes for this week is golden Oreo. And there are no golden Oreos at Walmart or Smith's locally. Now Jesse's going on a Oreo scavenger hunt.
I'm literally going to comb the great state of Utah until I find it. Also, too, like, if you guys want to send us golden Oreos, that would be great. We could just, throw it in our pantry for the next golden Oreo cake we make.
We'll hoard them like the toilet paper of 2020.
They are the bee's knees. Like, they are made of gold, apparently. So,
golden Oreos?
Golden Oreos, just straight gold. Anyways.
I don't know. I feel like the regular Oreos have got to be better, but we'll see.
Double stuff. Or the triple stuff. You had triple stuff?
No. Is that a thing?
Yo. Like... there's a reason why I'm a chunky monkey.
I like the thin ones though. I'm more like
you're all about that cracker. I'm about like that nasty, gritty, like creamy frosting in between the wafers, and it's just like like you're literally eating Crisco.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways, guys,
it's been a fun week here so far.
Yes, but
today's going to be a fun topic. I think one that most people will find relatable, kind of funny, maybe a little bit sensitive, but something that we can all gain from.
Ambry told me to go easy on this one. She's like, Jesse, be nice.
Let's not go too crazy. Jesse he can go very hard in the paint, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
Let's get started for real.
Let's do it.
Now that we're done digressing. Okay, so for this episode, I want you guys to consider for a minute that your mind is like a computer. Your computer has had multiple downloads, lots of files stored, and in some cases you've had files and or memories removed. And then as you visualize your mind as a computer, hopefully this episode will have a deeper meaning and impact for you. So as you listen to this episode, your mind is now a computer. Got it?
Got it.
Got it?
On it.
Good.
Computer mind. Am I an Apple or am I a Dell?
You can be whatever kind of computer you want, Jesse.
I now identify as a computer.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you've had programs installed in your mind since the day you were born. These programs are obviously what make you the person you are today. These programs completely make up your response and perspective of the world around you, the way you react to certain situations, all these things. Every family has ups and downs, strengths and weaknesses. That's totally normal. And I think what makes being a part of a family so beautiful and beneficial. It's like never easy. It requires constant work, effort, constant programming, if you will.
Ooh.
And likely your family and the way you were raised has had a huge impact on the person you are today. Yeah?
Absolutely.
I think most people would agree with that, if not everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you literally lived with someone that's taught you everything they know forever. It's like if you sat in our house for a year and learned from us, I mean, listen to this podcast for a year, you'll start to change too because it becomes familiar. So
the people you're associated with make you who you are. And obviously those that you grew up with that have a deep and very like ingrained programming effect on you. And you know, you have many amazing qualities and programs because of the family you're a part of. And on the other hand, there's probably some things that you would change or that you know, maybe look at a little less bright of qualities, like something that you just aren't super thrilled about.
absolutely.
Which I think is also completely normal and healthy and great, but it's also okay to like desire to change those things or to adjust the programming a little bit and like reprogram. So,
You see, I agree with a lot that you said there. Like,
but not all of it.
Not all of it.
Oh no.
Oh no. You see, the problem I have with this is that some of these programs are not helpful. And some of them are actually detrimental to you. And it's because you've had to carry the burden from past situations, maybe generational situations. Like if, you know, you have an issue with trust and you can go back to your parents had an issue with trust because your parents had issue with trust because their parents all the way back. I mean, we could be in the middle of like the gladiator age, for lack of a better example, and figure out that, you know, great grandma Josefina, I don't know, whatever, had some trust issues because great grandpa, I don't know, whoever was, you know, not the best person, not a very trustworthy person. But those things have been passed down to your extended downline of family, and your family can't really understand it or explain it. It's just, this is what
like
they
the
do.
way you are, the way.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting and important to note that like these programs, like the actual like reason or the actual root of them could go back generations. And, you know, whether or not you can identify that, you know, I don't know, but like it may be back in so many generations and now it's just kind of a thing. Like that's just how we are. That's what we know.
I'm going deep in the bag for the example.
Okay.
Do you remember the video Holes with Shia LaBeouf?
Oh my gosh.
The book, at least. Right.
I remember the video.
And there's like this
movie.
farm and there's all these issues with this farm. Yeah, the VHS. There's all these issues with the farm because someone way back in time was I think an onion farmer?
Sure. I honestly don't remember.
I think that's what it was.
I just remember they dug holes and ate raw onions and
the onion farmer. It's because someone was an onion farmer and the ranch and all this stuff got taken away. Long story short, Shia LaBeouf, the main character, is like a descendant of this person. But like all that drama, like use that as a good example of like, here's all this drama that it's now on you. There's all this family drama. Like the drama you experience with your family, now like go magnify that times like 10. And that's probably some of the similar drama that your ancestors have had. And that's being passed down. That's crazy to think about.
It is. And it's fascinating, I think. But why are we attached to these programs that we don't even know why or where they came from? Like you brought up, you know, great grandma, whoever, has immense trust issues because maybe her husband or someone was, you know, unfaithful or she just had a really terrible experience. You know, go 5 generations fast forward, there could be no issues with infidelity or anything like that for the last 3+ generations, but we still have these programs that are just part of who we are.
It's crazy.
So
absolutely crazy to think about it. And you know, a lot of the times, and this is where my problem is with it, you don't need those. Why are you holding on to them? These are programs that were installed. These are like the LimeWire. If you remember downloading your music via LimeWire on your computer, like way back in the 90s, right? Early 2000s. That, like, if LimeWire is on your computer right now, you would get rid of it.
Yeah, you delete it.
It's completely worthless. I think I did like a quick reel on Instagram. Like, if you presented me with an iPhone 4 today in 2022,
like, Jesse, look at this iPhone 4 I got you.
I would be like, what the freak is this? Like, this doesn't even like, I'm not even impressed. Like, why is it so old? And that's kind of like our programs, right? Yeah. Some of these programs are not beneficial whatsoever. No. It's software that's just complete garbage. And we don't understand why it was installed. In some cases, it wasn't even installed by us. It was installed by someone else.
Not intentionally. And a lot of these programs are just subconscious, or like you don't even realize that you have the program because it was installed into your computer at such a early age subconsciously. Like, it's not like you chose, like, oh, I want to feel this way when this happens. Like, right. Anyways.
So, I mean, like, and I think that when you start to analyze that and look at it, you go, why do I do things this way? Like, why do the outcomes always seem to have this common theme? Why can't I just get a grip on it? Yeah. Like, what is it that I'm even trying to get a grip on? You feel like you're
self-sabotaging, or like you're, ruining situations for yourself because of these programs and responses. But like you said, like, I mean, you have a computer and you have like, I mean, I literally know I've deleted so many files off my computer, just like, oh, a random Google image I saved to put on a flyer. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Like, oh, this random like screenshot of something that I need to send to somebody. Like, there's just all kinds of information processing just like on our computer in our mind, and things that we have to like filter through, things that we have to like, okay, I don't need this anymore. This doesn't benefit me. Let's get rid of it. So, but yeah, it can completely like ruin certain situations for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes too, we just give up because we don't understand it. And we just say, this is the way I am. Yeah. And you're afraid to do certain things. You have no idea why you're afraid of that specific thing. And it just feels like it's too difficult.
So like maybe some examples of what these programs could apply to or could be related to would be like, maybe it's your concept of like success, what that is, or can you not have it?
I like that.
What do you or do you not deserve? Maybe it's like your body image and your weight, like you just aren't happy, or you feel like you can't achieve a certain, like
you could have like
level of fitness,
a body of a Greek god, and still be not happy.
Maybe, or you just think you can't and don't deserve it if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Some of the other like your relationship with money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know like for us, I know there's been a lot of times when like I feel like I have programs of like I don't deserve to have money in excess. Like, it's silly, but it's interesting. Maybe it's like a negative reaction to very certain situations. And it's like every time a situation like that happens, you default to like this one way you react. And that's, a program. And it's frustrating because you're like, why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way? Like you feel like, well, this is just who I am. This is just the way I am. You're afraid to do certain activities, but you really have no idea like why you're afraid of that specific thing. Maybe you feel like change is impossible or too difficult, or you just don't deserve it. But all of these things I think are symptoms and causes of, negative, unhealthy programs.
Absolutely. And I think that the biggest thing is these fears or these programs are holding you back from your full potential.
Totally.
We've talked about this multiple times on other episodes, and that's why I think that this one's kind of like a keystone piece of understanding, is you tend to stay inside of your comfort zone. Even if you hate it, you try to just stay there because you feel like you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
even if you want to.
Yeah.
You're like, let me out.
I think something that's really interesting is I was listening to someone speak, and he said, like, my mom and I can talk about anything. But the minute we start talking about entrepreneurs and jobs, we have to cut the conversation there because she was a teacher, her dad was a teacher, and teaching was like, you need to go to school, be a degree, and be a teacher. And this guy was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. I want to be a instructor. I want to be a coach, right?
Yeah.
And so he's just had to say, I can't get there because what you've been doing is something that's been installed in your mind since the day you were a child from your father. I want to change that. And so we're not going to talk about it. And the big thing is understanding this. Like, your life is an evolution of concepts, teachings, and instructions that you've received. And you've received most of these concepts between the ages of 3 and 7 years old.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
So crazy.
And so, like,
and that makes me feel so much responsibility for like
being
what
a mom,
we are, what we're programming our children with right now. Like, I don't know about all of you, but I feel like that's a constant like worry of mine. Like, the way that we are reacting to our children, and our children are young. And so, like, I'm thinking, holy cow, like, what are these programs that we're giving our children going to do for them in 20 years, 30 years? Like,
right.
Oh.
And I think that, like, you're doing the best you can based off of what you have programmed, right? Yeah. That's why coaching, and that's why learning as much as you can is important, so you can change and reinstall those programs and add new programs, right? And
I mean, to your point, like, everyone is going to take their own path, and so they're going to need to adjust accordingly. Yeah. Like your friend you talked about, who had the parents that, he grew up kind of a certain way. He grew up wanting to do something new, wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like, now he needs to adjust his programming to fit that mindset. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I don't want to make it sound like there's something wrong with that, but man, being a parenting is no joke. Yeah, being a parent is no joke.
And that's the thing, is like, you have the opportunity and the power to control your own computer and install what you want. I think the biggest thing is a lot of times we don't understand that concept, and we just use the excuse like we mentioned before. This is who I am. This is just me. Have you ever said that? Like, oh yeah. And I mean, to the listener, have you ever said that, like, in an argument with your spouse? Like, this is just who I am. Like,
or at least thought that, like, and going back to like that, you feel like kind of defeated. You're just like, I don't know how to change this. Like, this is just the way I am. This is how I feel. This is like my, response to the situation. And like, I've totally felt that way before. Yeah. I don't know how to change this or how to like feel differently about this. This is just who I am.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, like, going back to this, is these are all pretty much installed in your mind between the ages of 3 and 7. And then as life has happened and those situations have kind of evolved and changed a little bit, your programming has always kind of been the same. It's just you learn to react in different situations. So, for example, we use the trust issue. Well, did someone break you from the age of 3 to 7 where you didn't have trust in that person? And if so, then what does that look like when your first crush breaks up with you? And that, then that trust is magnified. Or, what happens if your best friend spreads your rumor in high school and all of a sudden, like, you can't trust your best friend? Like, those things have impact on you, and they have deeper impact because of things that have happened between 3 and 7 years old.
And I don't think it's always something that happens to you necessarily, but observations, like watching the way that
maybe it happened to your parents,
people that are significant in your life, whether it's your parents, whether it's teachers, whether it's, whoever it is that you like looked up to at that age, like watching them and the way that they respond and react and, process certain situations, like that becomes like, you take that in, that all becomes part of your programming. So it's not, I don't think it necessarily has to be like a big event that happens to you. Could be, right? Like, that's a big part of it, but like also just observing and watching other people that were significant in our life.
Absolutely. People you love and you trust that, took you under their wing, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. I mean, I want to share an example just to kind of put this in real life context for you guys. And this is for me. This is something that I discovered kind of quickly, actually. And as we were continuing to evaluate our lives and what we truly wanted, right? Going back to these episodes, this content you guys are receiving, it may sound very like repetitive, but this content like makes so much sense when you start to understand these principles. Now that you understand your mind as a computer, like we're talking about, it changes your look at it. But for me, one of the things I struggled with was food. My family, we always eat. Food is like the staple in our house. I mean, and Thanksgiving, we go all out. My dad's family, they go all out. Like they have these ribs that are like literally candied ribs, like sugar coated.
They're great, but
they'll rip the inside of your body into pieces, but they're so good, right?
Yeah.
So like that always gets busted out at family parties. On my mom's side, you better believe we have cream corn at Thanksgiving. And some people think that's disgusting, but like that is a staple. You need cream
just
corn.
Thanksgiving. I think also like as a society, everything we do, every get together we have revolves around food. So
exactly,
it's kind of a hard thing to break.
So ultimately, I associated fun with food. Whenever there was a barbecue, oh my gosh, we're gonna have so much fun. As a kid, that's kind of where I tied it. Oh, I'm gonna eat a cheeseburger and then I'm gonna have fun.
There's gonna be a ton of treats and cookies and
exactly
homemade. Who knows what?
Because all my memories were evolved around food. Well, after I started to discover that and say, oh, it's because this is how I grew up. Like, no wonder I'm chunky. No wonder everything I like to do is evolved around food and I'm not healthy. It's because I like to have fun. And because I like to have fun, that that is going to involve food some way, shape, or form. Like, you ask me what I like doing. I like going to Crumble Cookie with Ambry because that's fun. But you guys get the hint. There's the cookie involved. Like, even though Ambry and I could go do something different, it has to have the cookie. And because of that, I was able to start piecing the puzzle together and understanding I can still have fun. And I decided at some point in my life that the food had to be involved. But now I'm changing that. I'm going to go back and install a new program that says, I can still have fun and not have to eat food.
Yeah, and like we can still go get crumble every once in a while, but at every like party, family get together, whatever that is, like it doesn't have to be like foods or choices that are not nourishing or healthy for our body. Like
absolutely,
it can be other things. Like we can have just as much fun without all of the like.
You can go to a movie and get a small popcorn instead of an extra large popcorn with the refill with the sugary soda. You can still go and enjoy, but you don't have to be gluttonous.
But it is like almost shifting and changing that program because, I mean, it's like you go to a movie, like I don't know. I feel like it's just like, okay, we need this huge thing of popcorn. We need all the butter on it. Like you never say no to that extra butter.
Right.
And then we need like the snacks and the soda and all that, which... Like, first of all, we're not trying to, like, demonize, like, going out and having fun as a family and getting snacks and treats. Like, not at all. Do that and have fun and enjoy it and don't feel guilty.
Right.
But, like, if everything you do in your life that is fun revolves around food, is that a negative program? Like,
sure.
It's not to say going to, you know, the movie and getting popcorn every once in a while is a bad thing. No, it's not. But, like, if you... in a deeper sense, like literally can't enjoy something like that without A, B, and C or whatever.
Right.
Like it goes deeper than that. So,
well, and I mean, like to just kind of change it, you know, this for my awakening, like food was a big deal. Yeah. Once I understood that, I was able to go and lose 35 pounds. Easy.
I'm still like, I think we went to the movies twice in that time frame, and we had popcorn both times. Like,
right.
But it wasn't like, you know, our weight in popcorn. It was like
we programmed and said
and like,
small popcorn.
Yeah.
And we had a ton of fun.
Had a ton of fun. Walked away feeling good instead of feeling awful the next morning.
Yeah. I didn't feel like my stomach had like filled up with a bunch of air. Right.
Yeah.
I think that regardless though, like another example that's kind of coming to my mind as we're talking is concept with money, right? Maybe it's not food. Maybe it's a concept with money. Maybe you didn't grow up with money. And so when you do get money, you hoard it and you save it and you can't spend any money, and you live this life of frugality that is like, it's not bad, but it's also like you can't ever deserve or enjoy, and you just tell yourself, no, I'm going to go to a thrift shop and get a pair of shoes, even though you could totally afford like as many shoes as you want. But there's that mindset. Or on the flip side, maybe you grew up in a poverty situation and you have a hard time keeping money, right? Because you went with so little growing up. Now it's like, I need everything.
Yeah.
And
either you feel guilty with having that money, or you feel like panicked, like I got to go spend this because I have it.
Gotta
like,
go spend this. Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
So there might be, some installations in your mind computer that are keeping you from, doing these things.
And affecting several aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Every aspect.
You throw money into anything and that definitely can affect a marriage, right? Like,
totally. Yeah.
If someone's racking up the credit cards in debt because
you're not on the same page.
They're not on the same page. Totally. You got to understand this. And that's what makes this episode so much fun.
Yeah. These programs, like that's why these are so important. I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is going to be fun to dive in at different angles in future episodes. But, but these programs, like I've kind of jumped all over with examples, but they really do and will affect every aspect of your life and your relationships. And like, your example that you shared with like food, sure, that example was kind of around food, but that affected your relationship with yourself, with others, with, food itself, like whatever. So
I wasn't healthy. Yeah. And then I started teaching my kids that you had to be associated with food.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and now I'm trying to teach our kids a healthy balance, right? There's still some programs that our kids have been installed because I didn't learn this at an early enough age that our 5-year-old is starting to reject certain foods and things because she associates foods with party. And now we're trying to help her understand, like, you can eat healthy. You don't need to have sugar, like you don't need to try every piece of sugar on the plate. You can just have one or two and be happy. But that's something that I've instantly been able to see because I've changed my programming. What's really cool about this is you guys can change your programming. There's so many different things that you guys can totally do. So ultimately, Ambry, as we're looking through this and talking about these programs that have been installed, really the solution is coming down to asking yourself one question. This is my favorite question, and you and I always, always go back to this.
I know where you're going with this.
But the question is what point did I decide this is what I thought?
Yeah. It's a question that one of our coaches asked us a lot, where it's like, okay, when did you decide that? Like, what made you decide that that's reality, or that that's the way things should be? When
did you decide that you could eat 2 gallons of popcorn, or 2 tubs of popcorn and 2 gallons of cola? And, at what point did you decide that? Mm-hmm. And I think that simple question for me has changed my outlook on stuff. So when I'm talking to you, one of our episodes we talked about no more fighting, right? Like, and being curious. Well, this is a great way to start that curiosity. Like, at what point did I decide that this bugged me?
Yeah.
Why does this bug me? What caused this? What happened between the age of 3 to 7 years old that this truly affected me? Why does it still affect me now?
Yeah.
Like, I pretty much ask myself like 7 questions right there. And now I'm all in like this curiosity mindset, right? Like, but that question alone will move mountains. Like, and you'll start to understand and process things about your life. And that's what's really cool. Is starting there. Just that question, the next time you start to feel a certain way, ask yourself, at what point did I decide this? And I don't know. I'm sure, you do this all the time. You ask yourself that. In fact, on one of our group texts, you shot it over to our friend and said, hey, at what point did you decide that taking kids on a vacation is not fun? And
his response was great. He was like, well, going with kids is a trip. Going without kids is a vacation.
But even then, at what point did you decide that? Well, I don't know. Like, after multiple times of going with kids and having kids throw up and stuff. All the feedback.
Well, one thing that you had mentioned, like, in talking about this podcast was that, like, the more you understand about yourself and the programs you've installed, that I think this is so cool. actually, the more compassion you'll have for those that have raised you or maybe like made that impact or helped you install that program. Like, you'll have a deeper love and appreciation for them. You can literally help them, like, because you understand and you have, like, dissected the, the program. And
sorry, I just, like, instantly, like, this situation happened. I didn't even realize. But you remember that text that we got from my dad? And the way that I responded was completely different than any other way I ever would have responded. My dad's had a lot of social and problems as far as like drugs and addictions and a lot of family issues.
Of addictive examples growing up.
Oh, tons. Had, you go down the Fisco down line and like 4 times great grandpa is addicted to
something.
Something just weird or whatever the case, like alcohol. Not that, you guys just keep it in check. In
Jesse's case, he's a serial entrepreneur.
Right. And the thing that I remember specifically is my dad sent a text. He was hurting, and that text obviously was not supposed to be delivered. Like, you should not have done that no matter what hurt you're going through, because it was a fighting text. It was like, let's take the gloves off. And my sister ignored it. My brother, he went and said something and responded. And although my brother's right, like, the way I responded was very just compassionate because I was trying to understand my dad's situation. Yeah. And that ultimately led to me feeling better and discovering a solution to the problem, as opposed to just
and understanding where that person is coming from. Kind of going back to like one of our previous episodes about like curiosity kills the fight, right? Like, you're becoming curious and you're trying to understand and like ultimately say like, okay, does this person truly want to hurt me? Like, is that their intention? Most of the time, no, it's not. It's just that, maybe they have a need or there's something going on, like, and the way that you respond is like crucial and can change, and it will change the outcome. And so, like, in this situation, I mean, you responded in a like kind way and in a way that opened up the door for like, additional communication to be had and to try and actually come up with a positive situation. But that would not have happened had we responded defensively, which we totally could have.
Totally.
And,
door was open.
When someone comes at you, it's like, okay, like, let's go, and most people would be like, yeah, you totally deserve to feel offended, like, whatever. But like, those are programs. All of that is programming. Yeah. Like, the way we respond, the way things make us feel, and like, and some programs we'll figure out and we'll be able to change them. Some, they might take us 50 years. I'm sure 20 years from now, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, I've been doing this way for, however many years, and now I'm figuring it out. Like,
I think that the monumental moment for me at that point, though, was the text I received from my brother where he's like, wow, like, you're a better person than I am. And beforehand, like, you guys, if you continue to listen to episodes, you'll get a taste of reality of what my life was growing up. But that was like a huge compliment to me that my brother would recognize that and pay such an awesome compliment, because beforehand I would have just went straight for the throat. Like, you would not have said something hurtful without me just getting right up and trying to fix the problem with words and meanness. And so to get a compliment like that, where my brother's like, dude, like, you're a better person than I am. Yeah. Like, I don't think he understands how monumental that was for me, because I was able to look at it and go, whoa, like, I've changed.
So like,
that's
from
cool.
This situation, you feel so much better about the outcome, the response between you and your dad, but also like, you got this really cool text from your brother, so you benefited from that. And like, literally, because you were able to identify a certain response or program, like, you can help those that like maybe have similar programming, because you're the same family, they get it, you get it, like, and once you figure that out and once you dissect and understand that programming, now, like, no more family drama. It's gone. Like, it's gone. obviously things will happen around you. You can't control everyone else's feelings and reactions and situations, but like in your life, in your circle, in your heart, like no family drama.
Right.
You're at peace. You can respond to any situation with like love and compassion and understanding and curiosity. And that changes everything.
And I think what's really cool about that, like you said, is that you become compassionate for others, right?
Yeah.
And for all of us, I know that this is a business podcast, but when you can actually understand and be compassionate in other people's situations and then talk to them, couple that with, you know, different techniques that we'll talk more about, different hypnotic languages and things you can say, like all of a sudden things become easier. Sales becomes easier. Your life becomes easier because you are compassionate and understand what that person's going through because you understand them.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time with sales, like you don't get that sale because you don't understand what the true need is. Now, as you can uncover that and then help them see that the true need is what you have to offer, your business increases, and it's awesome.
Like first, that person has to feel validated. Like feel validated, then they can open up to like, you know, whatever it is that you have to offer, whether that's mental programming or whether that's a service or product or whatever it is. But
you guys, you're going to be listening like 5 episodes into this podcast, and all of a sudden you're going to be texting us saying,
I hope so. Text us.
Wow. Yeah.
DM
text us, DM us. We're going to get a DM that's like, you've changed my life, my perspective. And that's what this podcast is designed to do.
And when you do that, now you've changed our life and our perspective.
Absolutely.
Like that's going to mean so much.
Well, we don't see you. We know you can hear us, like statistics show, but we don't know you, and we want to know you. And so what this week's challenge is we want you to think about something you truly want to fix. What's a trait? One of those, like, this is just the way I am, right? Something that you're not feeling good about. Maybe it was passed down from family. Maybe it's just something that was installed at an early age. But start asking yourself at what point...
something traumatic you've gone through as an adult. I mean, we go through awful stuff all the time. Like, I mean, don't even get me started. But, like, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily passed down from family or that you feel like was programmed through family situations. But
and then ask yourself, at what point did I allow this to be installed? And send us that. Send us the story behind it. Like, give us the juice, the details. We would love to hear it, because every one of you has a story. Every one of you has different things that you've grown up with that have shaped you to be the person. And we want to hear that story. We want to know our audience and what are some of the things you're currently going through, so that we can tailor these episodes for you.
Yeah. I mean, all these examples we shared, like, may not really apply, but like the same principles, the same, concepts totally apply to you at somewhere in your life. Like, what is that? We want to hear it.
Absolutely.
And super fun. We really, really love getting to just chat like this every week and share our thoughts, our experiences, and
there's no food, and we're having fun.
Dang it, where's our popcorn?
Where's our popcorn?
Everyone wants to hear that. Well,
here's the deal. We're going to invite you guys to all leave us a 5-star review. If you haven't done that before on any podcast or anything, ask yourself, at what point did I decide I'm not leaving a 5-star review?
There it is.
There it is. Maybe that's the thing you're going to send us. Leave us a 5-star review. Help us grow this channel. Go shoot us a DM at Fisco Frenzy. We would love to hear from you. We want to engage with you guys. Like, we want to know our audience.
We probably sound really obnoxious, but like, we really do want to, like, this is going to be a fantastic community, and there's so much more coming. Like, I'm so excited for what's coming. So, like, as much as we can grow this community and become like actual friends, and it's going to be awesome. So send us a message for real. Like, let's be real people.
Absolutely. And once again, 5-star review, help us grow this channel. Share it with your friends and family. Super excited for next week. Absolutely. This is Ambry and Jesse with the Matrimonial Merger, and we are super excited to talk to you guys next week. And
have a great week.
Have a fantastic week.
No family drama.
None of it.
Bye.
Bye.